Presenting the CW Crew.
Hey everybody, John Foss, CW Twin Cities. Very excited to be talking with Tanner Anderson. This guy's a local guy, and he just came out with a new film. It's called The Turkey Bowl. It's going to be in theaters at Chanhassen Cinema 8 on November 15th, and will also be will be digital and on demand at that point as well. So make sure you check it out. I watched it, love it. Got to give you props because I think this is one of those movies that could be a classic.
Oh man,
you know what I'm saying?
So.
Like
I hope so. I hope so.
There's so many good jokes and.
Well,
tell us about this movie.
They're not making movies like this anymore, are they? Like,
no.
I think it's a breath of fresh air. You have all the superhero movies with the spandex, all the sequels.
I did miss the spandex. But
you did miss the spandex?
Yeah.
Well, I could have thrown some on as a Sunny D character,
yeah.
but I didn't know that.
Great name, by the way.
I appreciate it. Greg Coolidge, Kirk Ward, our writers came up with it, so I can't take credit. But yeah, no, there's just not a lot of movies like this out there anymore, and so. When I read the script, I just thought, I was like, man, I want to see this movie. And it's feel good around the holiday time, a little bit of football, a little bit of family fun. It's about a guy that comes back to his hometown after years away, reconnects with the people, gets in a bunch of trouble with his friends, and it's just a good time. I hope everybody goes out and sees it and enjoys it.
And it's about a guy that graduated like 15 years ago. I can relate because I'm maybe a little older than the people in the movie, but kind of along in the same time era, like as going to high school and stuff like that. I loved the music.
Oh yeah,
all the music.
The
was back,
music.
back
So that was the thing. Was
that your choice, or who
yeah? So that was a big thing. So Greg really fought for that, and so as my production company, Make It Take It Productions, produced it. I produced it with my best friend and business partner who went to Edina High School, Anthony Fitzgerald. And Greg really was insistent on keeping a few of these 1990s nostalgic songs to really set the tone for us. And so
Blind Melon, Smash Mouth was in there.
Smash Mouth, we had Third Eye Blind. Yeah. We had Third Eye Blind, Blind Melon, Smash Mouth, and then Mighty Mighty Boss Stones.
Oh yeah.
The impression I gave. If anybody ever saw Clueless, they know how memorable is Paul Rudd with Alicia Silverstone. So he really wanted to fight for these things.
Swingers too, I think.
Was it in Swingers?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember it from Swingers, but I remember it from Clueless and All Star, obviously from Shrek and things like that. And so when he was fighting for the music, all I'm thinking as the producer is like, oh man, we all know how expensive music is, right? And so we actually filmed in the state of Oklahoma, and they have an incredible film commission there. And so we went and we got our tax rebate back, which means every dollar that you spend in the state, you get a percentage of that money back. And so we were getting some money back from the state, which is a great incentive to go shoot down there. And we had our investors, and so we did a pitch with them as to why this music would be so important from making this movie a really good movie on its own accord that everybody's going to love, to potentially a classic that you were talking about in the beginning, which is what we all hope it's going to be, where you guys are watching this every single year around Thanksgiving with the family, enjoying it, and just remembering it forever.
Awesome. Before we get too far into the movie, let's talk a little bit about you being a local guy.
Yeah.
So you went to high school in Eden Prairie, and then you went to Hamlin College too, right?
I'm from Eden Prairie, but I actually went to Holy Family Catholic High School out in Victoria, Minnesota, which from my understanding is where your parents live right now.
That's right.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it was a small town when I went there. I was the third graduating class. It was nothing but farmland, and I'm really proud to have gone there and to help start that school and be one of the first ones to go there. Now it's 20 years old, and it's really growing. And then after I graduated from there, I went to Gustavus for 1 year and then transferred to Hamlin, graduated, and then after I graduated, I went to acting school at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts out in Los Angeles, and I've been out in Los Angeles for about 10 years now. Yeah.
When you were going to Hamlin, did you know you wanted to be an actor, or where did this dream come
so
from?
there's like, everybody always has those, they call it the moment, right? That they just all hit them.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was January 19th, 2008.
So you remember the exact day?
I remember the exact day, unfortunately, because it was the day that Heath Ledger passed away. And there was a blizzard outside, and I was playing basketball at Hamlin, and so I was coming back from class, and my roommates had the television on. It was CNN, I believe. And they were announcing the news about Heath Ledger's passing, and they were premiering the trailer for The Dark Knight at the same time. And so I went in my room, and this is before YouTube and all this stuff, and I'm trying to find this trailer because I caught a glimpse of it, and I finally found it on the internet. I kept watching it over and over again, and I was just amazed. I was like, the guy from Knight's Tale, the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You can do that. He can transform himself, and even though he's gone, this is going to live on forever. And so something about that escapism and that playability and that you can go and do something and it might affect people long after you're gone. I thought that was a really cool thing to do. So I called my father up and I said, hey Dad, I think I know what I want to do with the rest of my life. And he's like, what's that? I go, I want to be an actor. And he goes, I think that's a great idea, son.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then he goes, but you have to finish up your commitment to Hamlin University, then you can go do whatever you want. So I finished up at Hamlin, and after I graduated, I moved up to Los Angeles and I hit the ground running.
So you just went straight to LA?
I went straight to LA, acting school for a couple of years because I always figured, a doctor wouldn't become a doctor without going to medical school. Accountant should probably learn statistics and Excel spread or something like that. So why would I go be an actor without learning the craft of it instead of just hopping right in? So I spent about 3 years learning Shakespeare, Arthur Miller, doing stage acting, and then when I got out, I started classic Los Angeles actor, worked at a restaurant, trying to get auditions and going to acting class. And so I did that for a while, and then I started Make It Take It Productions, and I was like, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. I'm not going to ask for permission from anybody to act, to work, so I'm just going to go out and do it myself, from raising the money to sometimes writing the scripts to producing the films and to acting in them. So that's what I did.
Did you have any interest in acting before this one day?
Or
did this come out of the blue?
No, I did. So as a kid, I was involved in acting school and acting classes, and I did some modeling when I was a kid. But you know how kids are; they can be cruel. And so I just wanted to be a normal kid that played sports with his friends. And so 7th grade, I think I was doing a Target commercial, and I walked off set. I had told my mom I just wanted to go play basketball, and but I always enjoyed the acting classes, and so I kind of put that on the shelf from age 12 to when I was 19, 20 years old, and this it kind of got reinvigorated. But it wasn't that moment that I was talking about, the Heath Ledger moment. It wasn't just like, aha, I'm going to do this. There was 3 nights of restless sleep because my whole thought process was, one day I'm going to be 30 or 40 or 50, and I could be sitting behind a desk somewhere at a job that I don't like, wondering what if. So I better go do this now where I don't have any commitments, so I never wonder what if, because that's the worst thing in life, is to have regret. And so for me, I only get one shot at this thing. I only get one shot at this thing called life. I might as well do it the way I want to do it. And until any stone's unturned with it, I'm going to keep doing it.
When you started acting, going for auditions and stuff like that, was it tough to go from? I mean, there's tons of actors out there, especially in that area. Was it hard to get started?
Well, that's actually the precipice of what Make It Take It Productions about, because I went from this prestige acting school where I got accolades and a lot of positive feedback to not having any opportunities to act. And so it was a fork in the road moment. You either figure out a way or you go home and back to Minnesota and get a new job. And so for me, I hatched this plan with my best friend and producing partner, Anthony Fitzgerald, in the kitchen of my apartment after a night of work, and I told him what I was going to do. I said, I'm going to start a production company. We're going to raise a bunch of capital. We're going to get a movie slate, and we're going to do things better, faster, cheaper, and we're going to call it Make It Take It Productions, and it's going to be a double meaning. In basketball, when you do Make It Take It, it's a one-on-one basketball game. I make the shot, I keep the ball. What I want to do, my model is whoever created this thing owns a part of that movie. And that way, if it's successful, you take some of it with you. And the taking, is a residual income of what you will get from the movie doing well. And everybody I told this plan to, they're in the industry or they're aspiring actors or what have you, they're like, you're crazy, man. Like nobody does that. Nobody goes and creates the material and raises the financing, produces it, acts in it, sells it, and does all facets. And I told Anthony this story.
Maybe you're crazy.
Maybe I am crazy, right?
But it's working.
Yeah, I'm working. But so I told Anthony what I was going to do, and he looked at me and he goes, I believe you. He goes, I think you're going to do it.
And he's from Eden, or he's from Edina.
He's from, like I told, yeah, he's
you
from.
met in LA.
He's from Edina. We met in LA together. His best friend was my neighbor.
Okay,
and
so that's how you met?
Yeah, so I have a bunch of Minnesota Timberwolves memorabilia framed, like a Kevin Garnett rookie jersey, in my living room. And one night he saw my door open after I was done working a shift at the restaurant. And he sees the jersey and he goes, are you from Minnesota? And I'm like, yeah, I'm from Minnesota. He goes, oh, whereabouts? And I go, Eden Prairie. He goes, oh, I'm from Edina. I go, oh, okay, cake eater. And,
nice.
and so we start having a little bit of a back and forth about that. So when I told him about what I was going to do with the production company, he believed me. And cool little story is when we sold the movie to Lionsgate late last year, I told him, I go, right now everybody thinks I'm crazy. Kind of like you said, maybe you are a little crazy. Everybody thinks I was crazy. But in 5 years, they're going to start seeing what I'm doing and they're going to think I'm a little less crazy. And then in 10 years, they might see everything I'm doing and they might call me a genius. And so we sell the movie to Lionsgate on a Friday, and he calls me up and he goes, they think you're a little less crazy now. And he hangs up the phone. And I'm like, they do. And hopefully they continue to think I'm a little less crazy and we keep this thing going and everybody goes out there, sees the movie, buys it on iTunes, Amazon, comes meets me on Chanhassen on Friday and Saturday, loves it, and you know, we can put more things out there for everybody to enjoy, but I hope everybody loves the movie.
Definitely. I think they will. And so Greg Coolidge, writer, director.
Yes.
How did you get involved with him to get this movie started?
Yeah, so Greg was my neighbor in my apartment building in Los Angeles. And Greg's very, very established. He's a great guy. He wrote and directed Employee of the Month with Dax Shepard, Dane Cook, Jessica Simpson. He wrote Ride Along with Kevin Hart and Ice Cube. So he was very, very established in the industry. And we lived in the same apartment complex. And I have a little 10-pound Shih Tzu poodle named Lily. And he's got a little 10-pound Yorkie named Gus. And so we have a dog run in our building, and so we'd always go down there together because our dogs would like to play with one another. But it's like any dog owners, you have to sit there and talk to the other dog owner, and you might not know them, you might not connect with them, but hey, at least our dogs are friends. And so me and Greg just started talking, and I pitched him Make It Take It Productions and what I was doing.
Did you have a plan? Like, did you know, hey, this guy is a big
director? I didn't have an angle.
His dog down there.
No, I didn't have an angle. I didn't know any of this about him really. Yeah. It was just simplistic. It was an organic friendship that was built because our dogs liked each other. So we started building this organic friendship, and he started sending me things, and I did a short film called Graffiti. It's on Amazon Prime if anyone wants to check it out. And he came to the opening night at Chinese Theater, and he really, really enjoyed it. And after he saw the screening of that, he's like, hey, I have a script. I think that it might connect with it. Just give it a check. And so I looked at it, and I go, man, this is really cool, but like I don't know if like we can do something like this right now because it's not a universal play. This is a very Americanized film, and you know you're cutting off the rest of the world. And what you want to do when you make movies is be globally accessible. And so I put it on the shelf for a little while, and then I just kept thinking about it. I was like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is exactly what the world needs right now. With everything going on, maybe we just need to laugh. Maybe we just need to have a good time. Maybe we just need to have some fun. Maybe we just need to watch football and a bunch of grown men act like idiots and be stupid. And so I brought it back out, and I was like, yeah, man, we can do this. I'll go raise the financing for this, and we'll produce it, and we'll go make it happen. Because it's, you know, him and his writing partner, Kirk Ward, his brother was a big high school football star, and he was a high school football star. And Greg's from Norman, Oklahoma. They wrote the story based upon their friends.
Did Greg play football?
Greg did not play football, but
he grew up around Oklahoma.
He went to University of Oklahoma, grew up a couple of blocks from it. His little league baseball coach was Coach Barry Switzer, who appears in the film.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's so good, and he's the best guy ever. He lives literally right across the street from the University of Oklahoma, but he was immersed in football. And if you've ever been to Oklahoma, it is football crazy. So I knew that the script for these two guys, you know, they could have gone and sold it to a studio and it could have sat on a shelf somewhere. It just meant a lot to them. And so they'd been sitting on it for a while because they wanted to get it made. And I just really connected with it, and I knew how passionate they were. And it's all kudos to them, really, because it was their vision, it was their story. They went out, they made it. The cast is just hysterical. They really kill it. Greg and Kirk did an incredible job of writing and directing them. But yeah, Greg grew up right in Norman, Oklahoma, across the street from University of Oklahoma, and Barry Switzer, who, like I said, is in the movie, that was his little league baseball coach.
So when he was coaching baseball, was this while he was the Oklahoma head coach?
I would have to do the math on that. I can't confirm nor deny.
Okay.
Because I remember, I think Coolidge was already at University of Oklahoma when Switzer was with the Dallas Cowboys. But there was that gap people forget where Switzer didn't have a job after University of Oklahoma to Dallas, and he was just big in the community. The crazy thing about Coach is people in Norman, they don't call him Barry, they don't call him Coach Switzer, it's just Coach. And everybody knows Coach. So
that's what you guys called him in the movie too, right?
Yeah, we just called him Coach. It was Coach McKinney, and Lionsgate called us like, "What's his first name?" We're like, "I don't know." Like, Coach. Like, he doesn't have a first name, like because that's what he is, and that's what he is down there. Because you know he's so universally beloved, and it's really hard not to like the guy. I spent some time with him. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know my name still. He just calls me Sonny D. He's like, "Hey, Sonny D, come over here," and I'm like, "It's actually Tanner, but hey, whatever, we'll do this." But he was always really gracious with everybody. We actually shot a few of the scenes at his house, and me and Dave on one night went out to dinner, and Coach was at the same restaurant. and the bill is coming, and I go, hey, can we have the check? And the waitress goes, no, it's already been paid for. Like nonchalantly, like we should be expecting it. And I was like, what do you mean it's already been paid for? Oh, Coach took care of it.
No way.
So he just pays bills in restaurants for us.
That's good to know.
Yeah, right? Just go out to dinner with Coach, he'll pick up the bill.
Yeah.
That's the key.
And in addition to Barry Switzer, you guys have a lot of big names. Matt Jones was in Breaking Bad. Tell us about, how'd you guys book these big names?
Well, it started with Alan Richson, who I believe is on a CW show right now called Titans. Alan and Greg and Kirk had met prior to us going down to Oklahoma, and Alan played a character in Blue Mountain State called Thad.
Okay.
And it was just kind of this like iconic character among college students, and they loved Thad. And it had and for me, I read it, and it was very similar to that character, but I thought that this character, Ronnie Best, that he plays in the Turkey Bowl, has more layers to it. And it's more the antagonist, where Thad was kind of just the dumb jock, where this is Ronnie Best is the antagonist that's the driving force of our movie. So we know we had to cast it really, really well. And Alan didn't know if he could make it work with his schedule. And so when it came down that he could make it work, he signed on, and that really opened the floodgates for us to get other good, talented actors. And so then Ryan was next. He's on Veronica Mars. He was in Party Down, so he signed on next. And then Matt was the final male lead actor that we got on board. And we just went, we know people who know him, and we went through his agents and things like that. He really was, he connected to the material, and all the stuff that's happening for him right now is really great between El Camino, the movie, Breaking Bad. He's got a new show on CBS. I couldn't be happier for the guy. And he's actually engaged to the female lead in the Turkey Bowl. They met on our movie, and they are now engaged to be married.
Nice. So who is he engaged to?
So Kristen Hager plays the female lead, Jen Harrison, in the movie. She was in Condor right now. It's a television show based off 3 Days of the Condor, the Robert Redford movie from the 70s. And she plays the female lead. Patrick Hodges, Ryan Hansen's character, is the love interest in our story. And Matt and her met on set, fell in love, and yeah, they're gonna get married. It's like the coolest thing ever. The Turkey Bowl brought people together in more ways than one, and people are getting married from it. And I hope it brings a lot of people in our country together, and they watch it, and they all can enjoy it, and talk about their Turkey Bowl games, because I think every small town can relate to this movie, or any town in general that likes football.
So producer, actor, matchmaker.
That's essentially it. Yeah, I'm gonna add the third title to it. It's not the first person.
Is that on IMDb?
I should add that extra line.
Sure.
Well, I actually introduced my buddy to his wife too, so I feel like I got a thing going on here. I really should start getting commission checks from this one. Yeah, I'm gonna start a business. Call.
Nice, I love it. Is it tough being the producer and actor?
Yeah.
You're running around doing things to make everything happen, and then all of a sudden you have to get on set.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning experience. I think it's like anything in life, that the more you do it, the better you get at it. But there's definitely a lot of trial by fire that occurs, and every production is different. And there's some things you can prepare for, and some things that are that come about. But the whole key for me is it's the golden rule that we learn as kids, right? It doesn't matter if you're highest or lowest on the totem pole. Treat others the way you want to be treated. So have respect for the people that are working hard for you, and working hard as a team, and treat them really well. And if you do that, you're gonna get people to work hard, do a great job, and that's what happened on this movie. I like to think is we treat people well, and they really had a good time making the movie, and the product shows, because everybody, all 150 of them that worked on this movie, it shows out there on the screen how good the movie is.
What's the feedback been like now that people are seeing it?
It's been pretty crazy. Like it's kind of what you were saying when you saw it. There's not a lot of movies like this. So it's a breath of fresh air. You don't realize you need this movie till you see this movie. You get so accustomed to Netflix binging and going and watching the superhero stuff, or watching a new Terminator movie that you've seen before, that you're like, I really miss watching a Waterboy type movie. I really miss an Old School or a Sweet Home Alabama. And then you watch it and you're like, man, I really enjoyed that. That was a good allocation of 2 hours of my time. So after Monday night, after the premiere, it was just, Alan turned back to me, his mouth agape, and he's just like, holy crap, dude. Really? Yeah, man, like this is what you guys did. Like you guys did all of this. All these actors that showed up every day.
Who said that to you?
Alan Richardson. He plays Ronnie Best in the movie. He was blown away with it.
He didn't even know.
He didn't even know. Even Ryan didn't know. None of them knew, because they hadn't seen it, and they see it on Monday night, and they just can't believe it. But you hire quality people, you get talented quality people around you. that go out there and do a great job. You know, it's a successful equation, so it has a good outcome. So I'm just really happy that everybody is really satisfied with it. And when it comes out on Friday, I can't wait for everybody to see it, and I think they're gonna have similar reactions.
Yeah, it's kind of like Hangover in the sense that it's like funny throughout the whole movie, and when that came out, it was different, and it's just a feel-good movie, and something that I feel like can be watched over and over.
That's what I mean. I hope we're the Hangover. I mean, if we have that kind of success, that would be unbelievable. I think with a lot of comedies where they fall short is. We call it the B story, and so with us, it's this duality of love. You have this guy coming back to his hometown that's not only re-falling in love with a woman that he dated in high school, but he's re-falling in love with the town and the people itself. And so when you have a strong B story, it's just not a bunch of guys making bro jokes and just a ha-ha laugh. There's actually a story with a spine and heart to it. So I'll be satisfied if people go to it and they laugh their heads off, but at the end they get a little choked up and a lump in their throat because they're feeling emotion, because they can relate to what it's like to have that high school love, that high school crush, and being really proud of a town they came from, but not being there in a while and reconnecting with it.
Can you relate right now?
Oh, of course I can. Yeah, no, that's why I'm right back here. I mean, I'm an Eden Prairie kid that went to Holy Family Catholic High School, and that laid the foundation for who I am, and that's how it always will be. Awesome. And so one of my dreams was always to have something come back here, and anybody else in Minnesota or the greatest Minneapolis region see me on something like this, talking, and be like, hey man, that guy did it. He's from the same town, he sat in the same classes, he went to the same schools or a neighboring school, and if he could do it, I could do it. Because it's just dreaming, man. It's just, that's what it is. It's dreaming and putting the dream into work when the work turns it into reality. And I didn't have anybody around me that growing up that went and did things like this. You have the Coen brothers, but it just seems like a star off in the distance. But I can tell you this much, I guarantee you Joel and Ethan started in the exact same place, just dreaming and going and doing it. That's all it is.
And Heath Ledger would be proud. Because Ledger, you know, even though he's not with us, his work inspired this. That guy, I would like to meet that guy. He was an artist. He was a purist artist, and he would have done a lot of great work. So hopefully, I can have some, like even a minuscule amount of the impact that he had on others' lives, have it on somebody else's life. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you did an awesome job. Twin Cities, you need to check this out. It's the Turkey Bowl. Tanner Anderson, thank you so much. Eden Prairie guy, you guys need to check it out. It's going to be in theaters at Chanhassen Cinema 8 on November 15th, and it will also be available digital and on demand at that time as well. Tanner,
thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you.
The CW crew on the CW Twin Cities, DJ Bonix, Alexis Gore, and John Foss. Like, follow, subscribe to, and love the CW crew.